This is TWiT.
So over the summer, I was chatting with a group of 8th graders who were shocked that one of the kids did not have an Instagram account. When asked why she didn't have one, the girl answered, "Insta hurt feelings. That's what my mom calls it." So how much bullying is really going on with teens on Instagram, and is it any different than what the rest of us all experienced as teens? To help answer this question, I'm joined by Atlantic staff writer and teen tech expert Taylor Lorenz.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back to the show. So in your piece, you wrote that kids are always being bullied, have always been bullied, but now Instagram provides a unique set of tools to do that bullying. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of tools make it easy for bullies, I guess?
So basically, bullies. So, I mean, Instagram is just a really massive platform, and it's very easy for things on there to kind of like get traction and go viral almost the same way as things do on Twitter. I mean, there's no internal sort of resharing mechanism like Twitter, has a retweet, but people screenshot, people can also tag. And it's just, the thing is it's sort of like this digital manifestation of teens' social lives. I mean, it really is where most social interaction happens for teens when they're not in school or hanging out IRL. And so, it sort of just becomes this place where obviously bullying dynamics can play out. It also, I guess, like the fact that you can set up anonymous accounts so easily makes it really easy to bully people. You can just set up new accounts all the time if somebody blocks you. It's
odd that Facebook really went the way of you have to be a real person, and it was harder, especially except in the beginning, it was harder to create a fake account, but it's so easy on Instagram.
It's so easy on most social networks, and I think that that's a good thing in a lot of ways. I mean, I think having your one account tied to this one offline identity is a very sort of like antiquated idea of of identity and like how people's identities should be manifested online. So, but I do think that it does cause problems, especially for bullying. And Instagram has put in some protections, just not quite as many. It's some of this bullying too is so subtle. It's not anything that an Instagram moderator could even, necessarily comprehend. So it's hard.
Well, I know a lot of parents who just say, no Snapchat. My kids can't use Snapchat, but then they let them use Instagram pretty easily. I mean, is there really any difference when it comes to bullying, or it's not?
No, I mean, Instagram's worse. It's weird that you would let your children use Instagram over Snapchat when Instagram is this wide open social network where you can basically be harassed 24/7 and encounter all these different new people, whereas Snapchat's a closed network. It's inherently more safe. But, parents don't know. And I would say any parent that's oh, yeah, I don't let my kids do this. So many kids just do it anyway. And, just don't tell their parents about it. So I think I'm not a parent, but I can't totally empathize. I know it's hard, but I feel like as the teens that I talked to, the ones who said they had spoken to their parents were ones that had really kind of open and honest relationships with their parents. And their parents had made it clear, look, I don't care if you got yourself into a little bit of trouble. I just want you to talk to me about it if things go bad.
Yeah, that is easy to say. And
I know.
I know. It's something I say every day. And my kids are like, I know, you've told us that. But I guess the other thing about, I think maybe the parents that I'm talking to are, a lot of them started using Instagram or let their kids start to use Instagram maybe 3 or 4 years ago, before there was all the instant messaging. Or, the instant messaging is so hard to find. I know a lot of parents who don't even know that exists, that there's messaging on Instagram at all. They just think it's just pictures.
Yeah. And I would say most parents that I've talked to too are totally unaware how many accounts their kids have. Mm-hmm. Their kids will be yeah, I just have my Instagram account. But meanwhile, they're running some meme page and they have some other account for different types of stuff or so I think Instagram does allow you to toggle between accounts really easily. It allows you to set up accounts really easily, and you can run them anonymously or in groups, which a lot of teens do. And for a lot of teens, that's totally harmless. But, there's always so much drama when you're kind of that age, and it can manifest itself really easy digitally.
One thing about your piece that I found fascinating is some of these kids who are being bullied who have accounts that are that someone has created specifically to bully them, they're actually filing cease and desist letters. Like, that's pretty mature for a teenager.
Well, I would say a lot of kids are like a billion times more savvy than you'd give them credit for. Mm-hmm. But yeah, one girl who had just multiple hate pages, which are these Instagram pages that are just sort of like dedicated to trashing one person. She got so fed up with it. And so she went online and Googled like legal, cease and desist form and just like filled it out and then sent it to the girl, like, via screenshot or something. And teens aren't that legally savvy. So I guess that was enough for the girl to be like, oh, I'm not trying to get sued and back off. But yeah, I guess, it was pretty, I think like any kid, anyone that's being harassed, you just want it to stop. Mm-hmm. And so at some point you're going to try to do anything you can to make it stop.
And I think as adults, we often think like the bullying is like, we're going through our kids' Instagram feed and we don't see anyone saying like, you're ugly or you're fat or anything like, oh, well, they're not being bullied. But there are all kinds of ways. Like you said, there's the other accounts. There are, comments posted on other people's accounts in the comment section. And then there's other things that are more nefarious, like blocking and unblocking. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, just having someone block you is kind of an aggressive act to begin with. That's hurtful. So much bullying does occur in the comments, but so much bullying is also concentrated in other accounts. Like there's a lot of sort of high school accounts too that are like high school gossip pages where everyone will just send in gossip about certain kids, and it'll all be sort of like published anonymously on some page. Also, there's just, a million other features that you can use to harass someone. The thing is that, especially when you're young, you're so conscious of like subtle social hierarchies and sort of like reading into every single interaction. Like my friend didn't like this photo, but she liked this photo. Or like, the tagging functionality, you can see like maybe a friend posted a picture of, all 5 of you guys hanging out and tagged everyone but you. Like that could be really hurtful, but it's subtle. It's not like somebody, calling you out. It's more like excluding or just, intentionally being hurtful in sort of these subtle ways that it's not easy for any kind of third party to pick up on.
I have twin 13-year-old boys, and one of them was asking, like, why haven't you liked any of my Instagram pictures? Did you see them? And I was like, no, I haven't seen them. And I went on my phone and realized, like, he had been blocked. And I think his twin brother went on my phone to block his brother for me. So it's like, that is the height of sibling rivalry. Like that.
Yeah. Trying to get those likes. Yeah,
exactly. So kids are tricky. So some schools are instituting rules around this. Like, you can't take pictures of anyone at school at all. Talk a little bit about what you heard from kids about that.
Yeah, so he's not quoted in the piece, but I talked to a high school principal about this kind of extensively too, just how hard it is. For schools, they don't have the authority to really police people's online behavior. So they kind of do what they can. A lot of high schools have banned, picture takings just because so many people were taking creep shots of other kids and posting them in mean ways. A lot of schools have, have Instagram completely blocked. Like you can't access, it on the web or whatever. It's such a losing game. It's really hard. Also like the principal I spoke to had, they had this assembly on bullying and kids were just like making mean memes of the principal the whole time in the assembly. It's really hard. And I think, but I still think like things like that assembly and these rules are necessary, even though kids are going to get around them and they're going to be mocked. Schools or administrators are going to be mocked for doing it. It still, I think, stems the problem, or at least communicates that it's not okay, and that this kind of behavior is not okay, which is important.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you get the like, oh, nothing's safe, like parents just give up. Like, you can't give up. You got to keep
keep trying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, you can say like, oh, well, I'll try to limit Instagram. But you said kids are even using SoundCloud to bully each other.
Oh, yeah. Well, kids use anything to bully each other. Like, kids use, and that's true for any kids of any generation. Yeah. Like, they'll just always use everything. So, there's a whole piece that could be written about all the other platforms kids use to harass each other. But yeah, this one poor girl had been okay, I don't know the exact high school drama that happened, but this other girl and guy wrote this entire like diss track against her, basically like saying all this bad stuff about her and posted it to SoundCloud, which is this sort of, file sharing site for music. And all these other kids immediately, updated it, put it in their Instagram bio, and she was devastated. And there was no, there's no recourse. You can't tell SoundCloud to take it down. The kids themselves obviously aren't going to take it down. So it can be really hurtful. Yeah.
So, bullying is not okay. We all agree on that, hopefully. And all these tools, like, is nothing safe? Is everything safe? Like, what? I mean, to some extent, adolescents, this is what they're supposed to do, right? Like, it's some sort of, like, we're trying to figure out who we are, and we're not like this person and that person. So, when you talk to teenagers, what do they most want? Have you talked to them about what they most want from parents or adults, or even the technologies to help with this?
Yeah. I mean, I think with solving bullying is really hard. There's so many safeguards that Instagram could put in place. But, I think that as a platform, it doesn't seem like they really have taken harassment seriously. I mean, people get just as much harassment on Instagram as they do on Twitter. And Twitter has this bad rap and has had to have this whole public reckoning. And there's all this stuff happening on Instagram, too. But I think, when it comes to bullying, it is really subtle. The kids that I spoke to all just said that they wish that their parents were more open. I mean, it's so hard because I've been in that position too. When you're a teenager, like, you're not really ever going to tell your parents everything. And it's embarrassing too. Like, a lot of the kids were like, I don't want to tell my mom. Like, I feel embarrassed about it. Kind of, they don't want to acknowledge it. Or they feel like their parents are going to make it worse, or like call that person's parents. But I'll just tell you one girl that, she did end up telling her mom, and the mom did call the other girl's mom, and it did stop. And it had been, she tried to resolve it on her own for months. So I think she was mortified in the moment, but ultimately glad that her mom did that. So, kids say like, oh, parents should just let us do whatever. Parents should just make it so we can trust them. But I think sometimes parents do have to step in and like mortify their kids a little bit to like resolve this.
Taylor, thank you so much for joining us again. Taylor Lorenz is a staff writer at The Atlantic. She is Taylor Lorenz on Twitter. I just love, you do write about other things besides teens and technologies. And so I love your work there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.